is affecting us.
I'm not infected. I have papers to prove I'm not infected.
Y'all, happy new year, happy 2026. This is the first YouTube video that I'm uploading in 2026, even though we are in the last week of February and it's about to be March next month. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Tyra, aka The Life of Tyra. I'm a journalist and a digital content creator who reports on pop culture, news, and entertainment journalism. I also make content about lifestyle, beauty, fashion, hair care, skincare, and much more. So if you guys are interested in any of those things, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified for whenever I post a YouTube video. Follow me on all of my social media platforms, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter account, my Substack, and much more. All that will be linked down in the description box below and in the iCards as well. Also, check out my website, tyrawatts.com. That's where, as well as my Substack, where I post all my long form articles on. All that, once again, will be inserted down in the description box below and the iCards as well. With that being said, let's get into today's YouTube video. So this video is going to be a story time / deep dive about if whether or not quitting cannabis is considered to be right-wing or MAGA coded, as well as my sobriety journey and my relationship with cannabis. It's going to be a long video, so sit down, grab a snack, grab some breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you're eating. Let's get into this deep dive. I got my iPad out with me today because it's a lot of notes. There are a lot of names that cannabis is referred to as. So yeah, so it's gonna be really weird in this video. I really don't know if like YouTube is gonna like take down this video or not. So like if I'm like referring to it as like these different names besides like the main one, there are a lot of names that cannabis is referred to as. So yeah, so it's gonna be really weird in this video. So this YouTube video is primarily based off of an article that I published on my website and Substack. It's titled, "It's been 1 year since I quit cannabis, now it's considered as MAGA." I'll link all that down below in the description box. Now, you don't have to read the article in order to watch this video. However, if you want to read it, you can. But I would really appreciate it if you share with everybody, coming from yours truly, an independent black journalist and content creator. So this first section of this video, I'm just going to talk about my history of cannabis and starting my sobriety journey. So on February 23rd, 2025, I made a pledge on the I Am Sober app that I will stop smoking cannabis. And fast forward exactly 1 year later, today, Monday, February 23rd, 2026, I am proud to say that I am 1 year sober free from cannabis. So yes, like pop the confetti, pop the big bottles, yes. Being 1 year sober free from cannabis, from any type of like cannabis consumption, like mainly I smoked it. Also like on occasion I did have like, you know, gummies and edibles and stuff. But my main consumption of cannabis was smoking it. Being like cannabis free for a whole year, like that is crazy. It's a crazy achievement. It's an amazing achievement. That doesn't mean that it was easy, because I'm telling you right now, it wasn't easy. It was hard. Like, it was really difficult. This sobriety journey does not end here. I'm going to keep it pushing. Now, I just want to talk about my history with cannabis. So, I first started smoking cannabis back in 2018. Since then, like, I used to like consider myself as like a social smoker. A social smoker is somebody who just smokes within groups. So for example, with me, I would consider myself a social smoker because like I will primarily smoke with my friends or with my sister. But I will share you guys like 3 like big moments for me where it changed the way I consumed cannabis. So the first moment was when my home state of New Jersey legalized cannabis officially. It was official on February 21st, 2021. It was after a majority vote was in favor of legalizing cannabis back in November of 2020. Then the second moment was the day that I turned 21, which is the legal age to buy alcohol and cannabis in New Jersey. The third and final moment was the day that I went to the dispensary for the first time with my sister, and we ended up buying different types of pre-rolls and gummies. Those 3 moments, like, it really pretty much led me to like consume cannabis more often. So like at the time, at this point, I would say probably like 2022, 2023. The only time where I would smoke cannabis was like in the evenings or on the weekends or on my days off from like work or classes. It wasn't really as bad. However,
Sorry.
by 2024, and this is like 2 years ago at this point, just ended up being almost every night. 2024, it was a whirlwind of a year for me, and it was mainly because I was physically and mentally at my worst. On the physical side of things, like I experienced like a lot of weight gain. It was mainly because of the side effects that I was experiencing when I was on Lexapro and on lamotrigine. It was primarily the Lexapro because one of the common side effects of Lexapro is like weight gain, and as well as my bad eating habits. Like I would eat like a lot of junk food and stuff, a lot of fast food, and the reason for that is because when I would experience the munchies, when you get the munchies, like when you're like high on cannabis, according to an article from CNN, it's caused by the active ingredient in cannabis, THC. It hits the areas of the brain that are responsible for mood and influencing our appetite. Physically, I gained a lot of weight. One was because of the side effects from the medications I was taking, lamotrigine and Lexapro. It was caused by that, as well as my bad eating habits. And the bad eating habits was a result of me getting the munchies when I would be done consuming cannabis, whether it be smoking it or having a gummy. Mentally, like I relied on cannabis, a form of like relief. I was like depressed or stressed out, or I need to like calm down and chill out. While cannabis did provide like a temporary relief to those like issues that I was experiencing, problems that like me like consuming cannabis at like an increasing rate was like cognitive issues. I was very forgetful. I couldn't focus. I have ADHD. I was diagnosed back in 2022. Adding that in as well, like it was a disaster. This is gonna get very like sad, so trigger warning. I also experiencing a lot of like personal and very stressful events in 2024 where like it really like put me in a deeper depression. So like I like started to hate the person I became, just to be straightforward, not to sugarcoat it. And like I felt miserable, I felt hopeless. I realized like I was feeling these ways because the way that like I was consuming cannabis at the rate that I was back in 2024, that I really do take accountability and like responsibility for, which I'm gonna get into this later in the video. Like I feel like accountability and responsibility is a big part on going on your sobriety journey. So realizing these type of feelings and emotions that I had back in 2024, that's when I'm just like, look, something's gotta give, something's gotta change, and I need to change myself for myself. Future Tyra wouldn't want the Tyra back in 2024 to show up for herself like that. If I want to change, I gotta do it for myself, and I want to do it so that future Tyra could like be proud. That's when on February 23rd, 2025 at 6:31 a.m. I officially decided to stop consuming cannabis. The moment that it became a reality for me, like, oh my god, this is real, it wasn't even when I officially made that pledge on the I Am Sober app. It was a moment when I threw away all of my cannabis equipment. I'm talking like the tray that I used to roll my cannabis, all my rolling papers. I primarily used raw rolling papers at the time. I threw those out. I threw away my grinder. Like, I'm talking, I threw away everything. Anything that I had physically like present in front of me that is for cannabis consumption, I threw that out. Out of sight, out of mind. The first 2 weeks was so hard. For one, I had like headaches every now and then. It felt weird and slightly concerning for me that like when I came home from work after like a long shift, immediately like, you know, take a quick shower, throw on my PJs, throw on my lounging wear, and then after that I would just like roll up, and then like I'll go out on my patio and smoke my cannabis. Starting my sobriety journey like 2 weeks in, it felt weird that I wasn't doing that. I was very like irritable because of my sleep schedule. My sleep schedule was all over the place, like because I was like working full time again. And then lastly, I also was having like very weird dreams. Like, the dreams were so vivid and weird and like strange. It was like to the point where like literally like I wouldn't go back to sleep. Like, I do not care how much more time I have left before my alarm goes off for work in the morning. Like, I would just stay up. Girl, like, yo, I did not want like, bro, like, I would not go back to sleep. Like, the way I would be sitting up in my bed, I'll just be like, nah, like, I gotta, like, I can't go back to sleep. Like, I would just do things to, like, get myself to, like, wake up, you know, and get my day started. Whether that be watching TV or, like, immediately just making breakfast. Like, I just, like, I couldn't go back to sleep. Like, I'm like, no way. I did try, like, a few things, you know, help me, like, cope with my sobriety journey. For instance, like, I started going back to church again. As like a bisexual black woman, it felt misaligned. Like, it didn't feel like me in a sense. Like, it didn't feel like this was like a route that I needed to take, or this is something that could help me with my sobriety journey. So I just stopped going. However, what did help me, and I also forgot to mention this earlier, as a part of me on my sobriety journey and me quitting cannabis, I started back working out and eating healthy again. And, you know, I was cutting out as much junk food as I could. Don't get me wrong, I would still eat some junk food every now and again. Occasionally would order some fast food. I would like to go to Wendy's or Wingstop. And, you know, I like eating out at restaurants. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never, like, stopped doing that. I don't do it as often now compared to, like, back then. You know what I mean? At the beginning of 2025, I did start intermittent fasting. I like doing it for the most part. However, I had to stop doing it because when I started working full-time again, I couldn't really fit into, like, my work schedule and all that stuff. So, like, I stopped doing intermittent fasting, like, altogether. It doesn't mean that I didn't like it. I personally enjoyed it. I will recommend it to other people, but also first do your own research on that, and also check in with your doctor or your primary physician and see if that's good for you and your health. I also started back journaling again. Let me tell you guys, journaling, I recommend journaling to any and everybody. Like, journaling is such a, like, releasing type of, like, experience. I typically journal, like, the first thing after I wake up in the morning. I do it for 10 minutes uninterrupted. I either will have like a question or two in mind and journal, but then other days, like, I literally will open up my journal and start just going in and writing whatever unfiltered thoughts that I have in my head at the moment. It doesn't really have to be like perfect. Like, even if you did like a short journal entry, like you wrote a few sentences, the fact that you journaled that day is still good enough. Like, that's fine. So it was journaling that really like helped me on my sobriety journey. I also made like a switch in my medications. Right now I'm just taking Vyvanse for my ADHD, a lot more focused and productive. And then like the most important thing that helped me with my sobriety journey is that like I became like more motivated in journalism and content creation, making it my top priority. Only part of like journalism and content creation that I'm like, me personally, can get stuck on is like consistency. I try my best not to like beat myself up if I don't post for like a few days. This next section of this video, I'm going to talk about relapses. I do want to preface this. I'm not in like a Cannabis Anonymous or CA type of meeting. However, if you are on your sobriety journey, whether it is from like cannabis, alcohol, or etc., if you think going to those type of meetings will help you, then go for it by all means. Personally, I'm doing this sobriety journey primarily solo dolo, but also, you know, support from family, my friends, my boyfriend, you know, my therapist, my psychiatrist. Like, I'm primarily doing it solo, but like I do have like supportive people behind me. Not everyone's sobriety journey is 100% perfect. I'm gonna be honest with you guys right now. There has been instances where I was so close to relapsing, so close to making my way down to the local dispensary or a local convenience store and buying a pre-roll. That's how close I was to relapsing. I'm telling you guys now. I know I'm smiling. I mean, it's kind of not funny, but I'm just telling you, like, relapses could and it does happen. My situation, those triggering part of a relapse happening, it was triggered or like it was caused by like stressful like situations that I was going through last year. A potential relapse that was creeping up on me, you know what I mean? I'm like really grateful and I'm really glad that I'm here to say that I did not act on those like relapses. I didn't act on those like tempting like relapse type moments. What helped me prevent myself from relapsing, I would do like a lot of things. Like I would either literally go for a walk, 10 out of 10. Another thing that I would recommend to any and everybody besides journaling, when I go on my walks, I would either not listen to music or I would listen to music. I'll turn on a comfort show. I will go on YouTube and watch videos from my favorite creators. So I just want to like address that part, because like I just don't want like people to think that going through a sobriety journey is 100% like flawless, it's pure perfection. It's not. It's not. Not everybody's sobriety journey is perfect. And if you do have a perfect sobriety journey, then good for you. I'm proud of you. I just want people to like have a more so like realistic sense of it. You know what I mean? If you're somebody who is on a sobriety journey, whether it's cannabis, alcohol, or any type of drug, if you do relapse, if you do slip up, do not beat yourself up. It is okay. Relapses happen. You can always start over again. It's fine. So I just want to make that clear, because I don't want people to beat themselves up if they relapse. Now, like, this is the nitty-gritty of this video. One tweet that I saw on X 2 weeks ago, the week of February 8th, earlier this month. I was on X, aka Twitter, and I seen this tweet on my feed, and this is from a user named Leah ! She tweeted, "Quitting weed is right wing, I don't care." And this tweet garnered thousands of reposts and likes. This tweet was pretty viral. Another Twitter user quoted that tweet, Eris, at Eris the Planet. They quoted that tweet and said, "This why I started back." So yeah, that was the second tweet that I saw on Twitter. And then a third one was from a creator, Curdy McGurdy. I've been following him for like a few years at this point. I knew everyone mass quitting cannabis was suspicious. Not only just on Twitter, but like I'm talking about on other like social media platforms as well. The more I keep seeing online posts of people saying quitting cannabis is MAGA coded, quitting cannabis is right wing. How does that equate to being right wing or MAGA coded? As a journalist, of course, I gotta get down to the bottom of this and like investigate like why is this being said online, and a lot of people for the most part are agreeing with it. So this is what I found out. Earlier when I mentioned Leah ! Original tweet, she like put a link to a different tweet from Liz Wheeler. She is a conservative political commentator, author, podcast host. She stated in her tweet that cannabis must be banned because it is a dangerous drug that causes schizophrenia, violence, and psychosis. It's a long post, I'm not gonna lie, like it's really long. I'll just link it down in the description box to show you guys, because like it's too much to screenshot, I'm gonna be honest. There is research that states otherwise. I did see under Liz Wheeler's tweet an ex-community note that said that correlation is not causation. And then it was a article that was linked from the Lancet Psychiatry. The article titled "Correlation Still Does Not Imply Causation." I read it, and one of the biggest points in this article is when it says, quote, "Bipolar disorder, anxiety disorder, and mood disorder have all been correlated with cannabis use, and reported that psychosis has been correlated with heavy tobacco smoking, heavy alcohol use, stimulant misuse, and sedative misuse. We found no clear evidence for a causal relation between cannabis and psychosis." The reason why people are saying that quitting cannabis is right-wing, it's MAGA coded, it's because that a lot of conservative, right-wing, MAGA, whether it be politicians or public figures, they're denouncing cannabis usage. They're pretty much against cannabis. I thought back to the time when I was in elementary school. It was my 5th grade year, and I remember in my classroom, a police officer would come visit us like on a monthly basis. Like this police officer, his name was Officer John, this white cop. He came to our classroom once a month to talk about the dangers and risks of like drug usage and how to live like a violence-free life. If you are a millennial or older Gen Z person, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you guys don't know, Officer John was part of the DARE program. What DARE is pretty much, DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. It is an educational preventive program founded in 1983 by then LAPD Police Chief Daryl Gates and the Los Angeles Unified School District. It's a series of classroom lessons led by police officers that teaches kids in grades K through 12 on how to resist peer pressure and live drug and violence-free lives according to the DARE's mission statement. That's pretty much what DARE was. Officer John, like from what I can remember, was a laid back and kind of chill police officer. However, I did think it was kind of odd that like a cop will come to our school every month. I feel like, again, if you are a millennial, if you're an older Gen Z, you definitely remember how Dare was literally infiltrated into like almost every public school in the United States across the nation. But the mascot as well. The mascot is Daring the Lion. The logo itself and like the t-shirts, they're pretty recognizable. Dare was pretty much everywhere. And it's not shocking considering that Dare was like funded by the US government. And yeah, so another reason why I thought that was interesting, because a couple of years ago, back in 2024, yours truly worked on 2 paid campaigns. One was Just Facts NJ, and another one was the Incorruptible.NJ. I admit, it was very hypocritical of me to work on those 2 ad campaigns, because at that time, I was still consuming cannabis heavy. I held myself accountable for that. Came to terms with that. I accepted it. I could already see people trying to use those moments as like a gotcha moment for me. My thing about that is, it's like, okay, like that is a good point you made, but also those videos were made 2 years ago. As a Black digital content creator, we hardly get those type of opportunities. Hard to come by as is, and if you do get a paid ad campaign, the amount that we would get paid is really not near the amount that other white or non-black people of color creators get paid. So the next section is the answer we've been all waiting for. Is quitting cannabis considered to be right-wing or MAGA coded? The answer is no, it's not. Even though I quit smoking cannabis, I'm not gonna further like lecture and tell people not to smoke cannabis, not to consume cannabis, because as adults, you get to make your own decisions. If you're somebody who consumes cannabis, that's okay. If you're somebody who consumes cannabis and you have no plans on stopping anytime soon, that is also okay. The reason why I decided to come on here and share my sobriety journey and talk about this discourse with quitting cannabis and whether or not it's MAGA or right-wing coded is really for anybody who is interested in learning about this topic, anybody who is on their own sobriety journey that is struggling, or anyone who is interested in going on a sobriety journey from cannabis or alcohol or any type of drug. That's really my intentions on making this video and writing this article. You are not a MAGA or right-wing person. You want to start your own sobriety journey quitting cannabis. I'm saying that to the people who already know that they're not MAGA or right-wing. They're not a MAGA or a right-wing person. They know that within themselves. Making like these generalizations like, oh, if you quit cannabis, you are MAGA, you are right-wing coded. That's gonna discourage those who want to quit cannabis for like health reasons, for mental health reasons, etc. Or just simply they just want to quit. They just don't want to do it anymore. That's fine. That's okay. That is the end of today's YouTube video. If you stayed all the way to the end of this video, thank you guys so much. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about my personal sobriety journey, just leave them down in the comment section below. Please be respectful in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you be notified from whenever I post a YouTube video. Follow me on all my social media platforms. Everything is going to be linked down below in the description box or in the iCards as well. See you guys later. Bye!